Major Hudson, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Jesse.
Thank you. So first of all, what was the impetus for starting this program in the first place?
So it's designed as a retention program for the Army. National Defense Authorization Act of 2008 gave the Army the authority to do it, and it was implemented as a pilot program in 2014 with the goal of trying to retain high-quality NCOs, warrant officers, and officers who otherwise may have to leave service for some type of temporary situation. But it was intended to remove some of the bureaucratic barriers and allow some flexibility so that those who may have had to leave the service or may have just chosen to want to leave the service over something that was temporary in nature now have the opportunity to do a sabbatical and return to the Army with a guaranteed job upon their return.
What are some of the reasons that soldiers have given or can give if they do take this sabbatical?
Well, one of the ones I've seen most common in the time that I've been managing this program for the Army Talent Management Task Force are married Army coupled program members. So the married Army's coupled program in the Army is when there are two service members who are married and they both serve. Other ones we've seen are looking to beyond the service member's time in the Army when they retire and so forth, and what skills do they want to have. So is there a family business that they want to take up after that, and they have to gain certain skills to do that, or just any other occupation they want to have. But instead of starting with a blank slate as far as those skills are concerned upon their retirement, they have the opportunity to pursue those skills now or to refine them and then come back and continue their service, but be prepared for that future job opportunity. And actually, one individual reached out to me recently and said that they were interested in traveling the world with their family and wanted to retire as soon as possible in order to do that before the service member's children moved on, but saw this program as an opportunity to take a sabbatical, travel the world with his family, and then return for many more years of service potentially. So there's really not a set limit on why people may do it. I think there's a lot of reasons. I think also caring for family would be another great reason. But just note that the application for this is not a quick turnaround. The service member needs to apply at least 8 months in advance. So if you have an immediate concern with yourself or your family, this program is not maybe not for you, or it may be done later down the road in conjunction with some short-term opportunities now, like taking leave, for example.
So who exactly is eligible for this?
So this is open to regular Army and U.S. Army Reserve, Active Guard Reserve service members only. And then within that, for our enlisted personnel, it's open to the grades of E5 through E8. Then it's open to warrant officers and the majority of officers, those that are within the competitive category, medical, chaplain, legal, and so forth. So it's open to those personnel. So you have to be complete with your initial service obligation, regardless of if you're enlisted or officer, or if you're U.S. Army Reserve or active duty. You have to be complete with your initial service obligation. You have to have less than 17 years of active service. So if you are in the Active Guard Reserve, but a portion of your time previous in your service did not count towards active time to where you didn't exceed 17 years of active service, then you would be eligible.
What does a service member owe the Army in exchange for participating in the CIP?
So the Army is basically reserving your future time, your service. And so to do that, they give you some benefits. You get 2/30ths of your base pay, so basically 2 days out of a month of your pay. You get your medical, you retain all your medical benefits, you retain your on-post services, and you get the opportunity to have a paid move by the Army. But in return, the Army is going to have a 2-to-1 active duty service obligation. So for every 1 month you serve in the individual readiness reserve, the IRR, with the career and admission program, you will then owe 2 months back to the Army in active service upon your return. The longest you can serve in the program is 3 years. So the longest your active duty service obligation would be 6 years. In the event that you find you cannot meet that active duty service obligation upon your return, you'd be responsible to repay the Army what they gave you as they reserve your time. So all those benefits that you received, including the potentially the medical benefits and the other non financial benefits like on post access and so forth.